It's not necessary to be strong, but to feel strong. It's probably one of the things that's made this project so hard mentally, is starting off on such a bad note, you know. It was always destined to be quite difficult. You always remember the things that you did, the things that stand out to you the most, but the ones that got away are the ones that you always remember. There comes a point where you're trying to do these things over and over again, and when it comes to the reality of it and you're physically unable to do it, it takes a big dent to your confidence. Like, it takes a lot out of you physically and mentally. You can't move on from that point because you feel like you're stuck in your mind and in your body. You're stuck in that moment where it's like, I need to get this one trick done before I can move on, because otherwise you find it impossible. You can't express it. It's so many heavy emotions at once because you've had to set yourself out to come back already.
I told you to leave once, twice, this is the third time.
You have to be in the right frame of mind to ride your bike every day. Like, everyone has off days. Everyone's like, oh, I don't really feel like riding today. But whereas when you're filming, you kind of put on that pressure like, yo, I have to go out filming today. I have to get this done. There's outside pressures from that. It's not just you and yourself trying to overcome something. There's other pressures that you've got to come up against. Like, yo, I've given myself a deadline. You have a certain amount of time with your film, or you have a certain amount of time to do this trick. Like, you know, it might be outside a building that's open a certain hour in the day. You know, you're not in a controlled environment when you're riding the street, because there's so many aspects that can put you off. It could be people, there could be cars, there could be weather, anything permitting to what you're at that spot. And something could completely change that because it's not in a controlled environment. You're not in control of that. You're in control of you and your riding, and that is all you're in control of. And you have to be in the right mindset to be able to go there and accomplish what you want to achieve. When you know in your mind you set yourself something like, right, I'm going there, you've already pictured yourself doing it, so your body starts to feel what your mind's telling it. There's a continuous rush of adrenaline the entire time when you're on the way to something, because you already know what you're going there to do. Once you're there, like, that's when it really starts. when in reality it's not going to make a difference if you go on the 3rd time or you go on the 20th. Every time you run up to a spot, nothing changes, the spot stays the same. The more times you run up to something, the more like you're battling yourself in your mind over it. There's an element of switching on and switching off. You have to just, at that point, you just have to switch off in that moment and just say go. It's crazy what you can do to your mind from over-analysing and overthinking something, especially with bike riding. That's something you're potentially afraid of, and you're over-analysing it thinking, why isn't this working, or why am I afraid? You end up creating this dark space in your mind that you can't get away from. Facing the unknown is a scary thing.
Yes, man!
Every project I've worked on up till now has been a natural environment with friends, like people I ride with. You know, it's not just me. Whereas with this project, it's been, you know, it's kind of been like a really personal battle for myself to go back to these things and overcome them. And it's been a wild journey, like to do something like that on your own. And it's difficult. It makes it much harder. Like if you're in a natural environment, you know, everything, like the vibe's good, other people are riding, everyone's vibing off each other. I didn't have that. There is a completely different mentality with something where you're trying to say to yourself, right, I'm going there on my own, I'm gonna go get this done. However long it takes you to get it, like that process, you don't enjoy it. But then when you've got something to show for it, you feel like everything was worth it. You know, when you think of a new trick that you want to do, it's not just a new trick for you, like say something that hasn't been done yet. Like you're trying to create something that doesn't exist and make it reality. When you've got an idea for a trick or something in mind you got for a spot and you go there and you film it, you're essentially bringing that to life. That's a feeling you can't replicate that feeling. If you've like pushed your boundaries, you pushed your limits, you feel like you've achieved something. If you're not happy, that means you've got so much more to do. Because you know in your head that you're capable of more. And that's the drive that makes you want to do the next project. You're like, I've still got stuff I want to do. You get to that level where you just filmed the best video part you could. Like you felt like you put as much into making a video part as you possibly can, but then when you can't drop off after that. So then the next one you have to, you're like, right, this is it, I need to go further than I've been before. You know, when you're filming a video part, you put your heart and your soul and your absolute everything into it. Not to be the best or be better than anyone else. It's for you. There's an element of an artistic mindset in that respect, like when an artist is making an album and like when someone's making a video part, it's a representation of them and how they feel. Everything they have, their emotions, everything are put into that, and you hear it and you see it. Like you see it in someone's writing and you can hear it in someone's music. That moment in time, that is exactly who I was. And your writing expresses that. The feelings you get from pushing your boundaries are what life's all about. You can't just sit there and, you know, be comfortable and do nothing. You need to push yourself. And the feeling you get is you're absolutely euphoric. You have to believe in it. You have to pursue it and find your own path and make it a reality.